ours and
Okay, I started the recording for the meeting, so so we can at least keep recording these. I don't know. Yeah, I think we have quorum. Let me see. Actually, we might need one more.
There's 8 total in the.
Yeah, we have 8 total, so I think you do have to have a majority. So I think you have to have one more.
one more.
1, 2.
Oh, we have 5. We have 5. Sorry, I forgot we have one sitting here. So
Well, and you have 5 on the board besides, I
Yeah.
think.
yeah, so we're good. So I'll go ahead and start it and let everybody know that if we go past 3 o'clock, I have to be at another meeting for the transportation study, which is one of the things I want to talk about as well. But I want to briefly kind of say at these quarterly meetings, my second item there with data, that's really one of the things I want you guys to kind of start talking about if there's other things, because I look through the scope that's on every agenda. I put that background and the scope of work, and I attach all those different areas of analysis. And for instance, number 1 is Cannon Beach seeing an increase of short-term rental activity? So, that's just the basic metrics of keeping that total. Right now, we still have 206 total, so that's staying about even. As you know, the 5 years are slowly dying down because we put that moratorium on them or kept them we're not taking any new ones. We do have 118 14-day now, a slight rise in that, which is possibly just because the 40 days are going out and the 14 days are coming on, or the 5 years are dying out, 14 are coming on. But then the number 2 point is, can it be seen an increase in short-term rental influence complaints? We have not seen that. In fact, since the start of this year, we have got really 0 that we have is under code complaint for short-term rental. We have one under parking that I'll have to check the address on that, and then 2 under noise that are all 3 of those are questionable whether they're short-term rental or not, but really not any noticeable uptick in any of that either. Then the third point was, are there current issues with short-term rental program? And that's for you guys to discuss and how you guys want to discuss those items. That would be number 4 on the agenda. And then 4 and 5, what are the residential neighborhood impacts of the short-term rental program? And what are the fiscal impacts of the short-term rental program? As you know, that leads into the next items that I just want to cover and then step aside and let you guys run the show. But we did increase the rates and quite substantially, so that will definitely have an impact on at least cities' revenue from the short-term rental program. And so those will take effect July 1st, so this time next month. We have the next item, transportation system open house. That's on the 3rd, so Thursday at 6 o'clock is a webinar, which really is just a discussion of the items that will be on the open house, interactive open house of the transportation, which will launch this afternoon. So that will run through the 18th. So anyone and everyone, I want to get the word out as best possible. So you'll find the materials at cannonbeachtsp.com. That's Cannon Beach Transportation System Plan, tsp.com. And that website will have all the information. It will have open house information, and keeping our fingers crossed, because I hear that we may be going to low as early as Friday. And so if that's the case, we're going to be talking about how we're opening up and having meetings. And I expect the rest of the public engagement component will be hopefully in person. And that will go for us as well. And so I would really hope that in September, when we have our next one of these, that it's all going to be in person and we can get back to kind of normal. Then the code audit, we have sent the contract, or at least the scope of work and the contract to the consultants on that, and we hope to have that ready to go by July 1st. And that's pretty much it. We do have some zoning ordinance language that's going through, but the current one that's going through right now is more on right-of-way, that influences right-of-way. And so it's not any about the ADUs or size of units, and that's waiting for the code audit and that language. So that's kind of my brief summary. The reason I put on the agenda meaningful metrics and then the task force discussion, I wanted you guys to kind of run the rest of the meeting. I just wanted to brief you on where we're at certain things. So I'll turn it over to you guys, and then let you know. See, I put out a request, I have to say, for agenda items from you guys, and I didn't get anything, so I don't know if anybody's got any certain topics they want to discuss, or.
I have a question, Jeff.
Yeah, go ahead, Lisa.
Well, you said that there, on the city website, there's a place to, if you have a complaint
Yeah.
or you'd like to have a short-term rental investigated, can you just point me out where exactly that is on the city website?
Yeah, I'll share my screen with you, okay?
Okay.
His name is Travis.
I love that. Okay. So yeah, Travis is, Hanshaw is his name, but let me go to the front page so you guys know. So here's can you guys see the website?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go under these tabs up at the top, there's government, there's
Right.
services, and if you go under services, you'll see code enforcement complaint under the police department.
Aha, okay.
Yeah, and so just click that and it takes you right to the form.
And
Okay.
he does come out. I don't know that he actually sends you anything in response to your complaint. I mean, we happen to run into him in the street, so we talk to him, but I don't know if you make a complaint, if he sends you an email back and says, I checked it out, here's a result.
Did you send him an email?
I filled out a
His code
form.
complaints and with your email on there? Okay, yeah, he should get back to you.
Okay, yeah, we met out in the, we saw him and talked to him, so I didn't know if that's why we didn't get one.
Okay,
Or whatever. I hope he would send a,
yeah.
what did I do answer.
That's
But it also is not instantaneous. We're talking a week later, maybe. And so
Yeah.
don't think that if you're having a trouble with somebody, that he's gonna come out that night. I don't think.
Yeah,
That's a police call.
yeah, it depends. That's a great point, because you may not get the code officer because he only works certain hours. So you might turn this complaint in, and if it's like immediate or something needs an early response, the police department will go out there, and that's an officer reporting that. And then he follows up on that and gets back with Travis once he's back on schedule. He's back to his summer schedule now, which is mostly longer weekend hours. So he'll be working Saturdays and Sundays, whereas during the off season, he's working more of our business hours of the work week.
But was this the place you would, like, let's say you think somebody is renting, to 4 or 5 different parties a month.
Yeah, you will see on there suspected unlicensed short-term rental or illegal temporary quarters. And then if not, you just click that other and put in, type what you need to put.
Oh, okay. And how does he check that? How do you show, I mean, if there's a set of cars there, every other day?
Yeah, so first thing, what he normally does is he'll first hopefully follow up with the person that makes the complaint. Then second, he's gonna do that. He will ask the other officers as well to take pictures of the license plates and then follow up daily or weekly with who's renting what. And then he can trace that also to our list, so if you go to our website, you will also see all of our lists, like the current short-term rental list, and then we have the 5, a map of the area, each one. There's the lifetime and the 14 days. So he'll track it through our list and then follow up with that.
Okay, that's great.
Do that slower. Where did you go?
Okay, so so I was gonna just, if you guys got a couple minutes here. So if you go under our website here, you will see under the services tab, you will see short-term rentals over here under community development. Okay, so services, short-term rentals. And from that site, you will see a current short-term rental list, which takes you to that page I just showed you with 14 5-year and lifetime list. And that's updated monthly about?
Monthly.
About monthly.
After we do a big batch of renewals,
Yeah.
we'll update it.
So this one, I think, was May 6th or something is the last time these were done. My map, which I just showed you as well, which is down here, short-term rental map, that's probably done. I do that about quarterly. And so you can track that, if we do get another planner, I'm sure we'll be more timely with all this stuff. The other page you might want, thank you.
If he keeps having problems, can I have him come in here?
Yeah, because I don't see him out there in the waiting list.
Yeah, that's why I ended up on the waiting list, just because I tried from my computer, and so he's rebooting. But
It's not working.
It's not working, but if he can't get in, I'll have him come in here.
Okay, okay. Sorry, Jim Pano was trying to get in through Zoom. He's having some issues, so that was Jen. So I was going to show you one other thing with the short-term rental thing. So if you do go under, you'll see all the different lists. You'll see our information. Short-term rental task force takes you to the short-term rental task force page. And you can also get to the short-term rental task force page from the website. Looks like we're kind of slow as well. But if you go to here and you go under government, you'll see short-term rental task force as one of the boards and committees. And you can get in through that and you'll see the meeting days list and things like that.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Just quickly, are we still on the twice a month, not every 2-week calendar?
Twice for what?
For short-term rental, you can have them okay, yes?
Yeah, so 14 day is the only type you can get currently.
Okay, but you can do that concurrently. Didn't it used to be the first and you had to wait a week in between renting?
Yeah, I got rid of that.
Every other week versus twice a month. Didn't they change that during the pandemic?
No.
Am I wrong here?
No, they didn't. They did try. There was a when I first came aboard a couple years ago, they were trying to change the what they called the 14-day, but it was a small kind of a tweak to how it was kind of calculated. So that they didn't eventually pass that. It's still what it was.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yeah, so if that's where it stands, I don't know if there's any other questions you guys, at least from the data perspective, anything else you guys might want from a data perspective. Like I said, we're going to get a lot of more parking information and an understanding of our parking system through this transportation system plan update. And I would recommend, and I'm going to be sending out letters this week to all of the short-term rental task force and also short-term rental owners and operators that this is available, or this open house is available, and we'll be sending out notices to Chamber, all of our different organizations and lists as well. So to go online, because there's a survey component as part of this open house, and we'll be gathering feedback on what's your concerns or your complaints, or what are your biggest issues, or what you even like about transportation in the city. So like I said, to me, I've been taking, or what I've been taking for the data, and what I have available to me, our short-term rental activity is from our rental. And we also have the scraper that's out there, and we do follow up on complaints. Like I told Lisa, that we go and check license plates. And I know there's right now currently, at least that I know of, 3 or 4 active ones on that we're following, that we've had some concerns about whether, they're renting every other week or so. But nothing that's come of those that I know of from Travis. And then the second, the parking element, and then just general traffic. We've done the traffic studies will also be part of this open house and part of that discussion. So does anybody else have anything or want to discuss anything? I know this is, to me, not the easiest way is through Zoom. So I'm always happy to wait till September to start the kind of face-to-face discussions.
Jeff, it sounds like, I think it's
Establish some kind of goals or something.
Well, that's it. We have a list of areas of analysis. But some of them I feel are kind of a moot point. We know that short-term rentals contribute to the economy here. We know they have violations. The only thing I think the committee really has to look at that isn't just basically mining data is what is the livability? The density question is the question that I think is what we need to address. Should everybody in town be able to rent 2 times a month? Or should there be a cap on, should there be a cap on that? At what point do we not have enough people to be on committees? But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I see is the financial is a push a button, you know the answer. Complaints, you know the answer. The livability is going to, in my mind, is going to require some kind of analysis, some kind of survey of people that live here, and that data being put together.
Well, I don't think it's quite that simple. I think that we had asked previously, and it's been discussed, that there is the second home issue is a big issue where people are allowed to have friends and family multiple times a month without any restrictions at their home, and which is maybe a second home. And those, it's been discussed here that maybe some of the complaints, both parking and code and police complaints, noise, et cetera, may be actually coming a lot from that group of homes. So I don't see that this is all about just the short-term rentals. And the other deal is that right now the city council is not allowing any new rentals. So we do have quite a bit of
True.
in front of us.
Well,
That's-
that we are still doing 14-day rooms.
Still doing 14
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, and so on that point, yes, you know, I think that that is a very, both the survey kind of question, livability. I do want you guys to do the open house for the TSP, because there are some elements in that talking about those kind of issues, parking and things like that, congestion. And so I think some of that is related to that. But then the second home issue, or what is the sector, where is the origination of the complaints? That's one of the things that, you know, we're going to try to tackle and refine more. And I hope in September to maybe at least have some, you know, okay, so right now I tell you, I aggregate it pretty much by saying, this is a short-term rental violation. This could be a short-term rental violation. I'm going to specify that a little bit better by any ones that we get to our code complaint officer. I can kind of, at least from a perspective of the, say, 6 surrounding landowners or whatever, the on both sides, rear and front, you know, however we want to break it down, in that bubble, you know, is there an STR or not? And then you guys then will just have that data. It doesn't mean that I'm making the determination that this was caused by the short-term rental, but it was within the short-term rental, let's call it buffer area or whatever, or you know, if it's 100 foot. But I'm going to do that just so that, and the same thing with second homes. How many, you know, second home or full-time residents that we know of. Now, there's any of that, it comes with a grain of salt that we can do, because I can't tell you exactly what are second homeowners and what are exactly residents. I have a general, probably 80% or higher rate on that from the different data I can pull together to cross-reference on that, but it's still not perfect. So all of this is going to be with some kind of caveats, but at least I will spell out those caveats and you guys can then take it from there. But that's really what I'm going to try to start bringing before you and over the next few quarterly meetings. And that'll give you at least some analysis of this, because I can tell you just from my own anecdotal, and I'm not about anecdotal, but I can tell you from my own anecdotal, the busiest by far residents in my property is a full-time resident, and they have the most cars, they have the most parties, they make the most noise on my street. So that's just me within my range, but does not mean that that's the case in everyone. And that's why I like this committee, because I want you guys to, or for us to at least bring out the data so that we can all see this. Because I know, and I guarantee you, my case is not the same as Lisa or, you know, anybody else's that lives here is going to be different. And I just want that to, I would like to see the data, because when people complain to me about short-term rentals, yeah, I can say that I can't come at it from a totally objective because I live here. And so I'm going to come from my perspective on that. I can only tell you though that, you know, we're tracking and trying to keep the data as objective as possible. And that's what I want to do when I report it to you guys.
Jeff, I have a question. The parking that happens at the end of all the streets here and up and down the streets that are approaching the beach, with they're not short-term, they may or may not be full-time or second home, but there's certainly a lot of their people parking that are day trippers. They're just here for a day at the beach. And how are they going to be factored into this parking plan? Because the way the planning department seems to be setting up the ends of the streets here, at least in Toledana, is to expand that parking for those folks. Is that am I misinterpreting that? But it sure looks like it.
Well, I don't know if you're misinterpreting that. I do know that we have tried to reclaim right away. I don't think there's kind of a stated plan on how we're going to utilize that going forward, because that's what we're hoping to get some feedback on the transportation system plan. And so that's one of some of those questions we want to have answered with this TSP. We have tried to make an effort, at least the Public Works Department is making an effort to reclaim some right of way that, people have kind of incorporated into their own property. But we want to at least kind of say, hey, this is city property. We are going to plan for this in the future. And that's part of the parking plan our parking study that we're having done as part of this. Just at least get a true inventory of how much right of way we have that is either being utilized as parking or not being utilized as parking. And that way we can factor in, hey, how much do we have that's not being utilized currently? And how would that, at least from a capacity perspective, how would that relieve some or help if we were to utilize that?
Okay, so, but I mean, we're focusing on the parking requirements for the short-term rentals. And these are people who are paying their way through tax and that kind of, then this is just, where I'm coming from. I understand I have a different perspective than everybody, not some of the other people here. But these day trippers are here and they're not contributing to our economy at all. But they are getting premium parking that our guests can't use because they're required to be on their property. Their parking is required to be on the property. I'm not sure that I see balance to that.
Right. Well, we do not require, we require anybody with a certain occupancy to have a certain amount of parking. But just like with any other user, just like the ones we're talking about, second homeowners, or even myself as citizen, you can still have guests that start parking right away. So we
Sure.
We calculate that in as part of that. But I hear you and I understand that. And that is definitely one of the things we want to study and provide the citizens and the elected officials with different scenarios on how to manage those type of balancing acts of day trippers and the guest community.
Yeah, I mean, to me, from my point of view, it's so much of the congestion here as a result of day trippers. They're coming down, they may buy some ice cream, they may stop at one of the stores for a few things if they can find a parking space. The rest of the time, they're basically here just to go to the beach. And so how do we filter them out in your discussion for this parking plan? I guess that's what I'm not.
So I can tell you, Linda, how it's done. So what they do when they do these parking studies, yes, they're auditing the actual license plates and where they're coming from. And so we'll get a much better understanding of where these folks are coming from. I've worked with other studies, parking studies and traffic studies, where, now they can do it down to, where with zip codes these places are coming from. And so we can see what percentage of our traffic is from where, and like you said, can somewhat collate that and correlate that with the other information to find out how long and other information on stay and use.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah, good points. Anything else as far as concerns or?
I don't want to be the dumb one, but I still don't understand what our purpose. Give me a do this, and I'll do it.
Well, if you look at our task force mission, that's really, I go back to this.
Okay.
I can't tell you guys what you've got to look at the task force mission. It's pretty much just to look at how this short-term rentals impact the community. Are there anything any recommendations you have after doing that. And so they wanted you guys to gather some information, data that we could. I think they understood at this point that at least we were going to have a transportation system and hopefully parking component as part of that. And now we're going to be given that. So we'll get a lot of more meaningful information, and especially over a couple more years of collecting this kind of information, I think you'll have a much richer data set to understand the dynamics. Just like what Linda just brought up, I think we can, a couple of parking studies can tell you at least on those packed weekends or the summer seasonal, where and how much you're getting from out of the community and how much impact that has.
Yeah, I think up to now, Jeff, we just haven't had enough data to work with to really have a broad conversation on, because, well, we had the pandemic for one thing. Two, it's been a fairly short period of time for you to be collecting the data that we really would like to have to be able to discuss.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I
just
agree.
timing.
And the
Yeah.
pandemic has kind of skewed things a little bit too. So
Absolutely.
we don't
Yeah.
really know the new normal.
I agree.
Exactly.
True. That's we really don't.
Yeah, and so, you know, I would hold out. I think I think you guys took the right initiative by saying, hey, we don't need to have a set leadership and run it like Robert
No.
Schultz to begin with. We need to just kind of stay open for a little while. Once we get back to being face to face, hopefully in September, and I can probably start bringing out some better data as well on that. So, you know, each time I'll learn more, and with this parking information, I think we'll learn tons more on that.
Can I ask another question? This is a little off the topic, but who pays for the garbage collection at the end of the streets? Right, you know, leading down to the beach. Who pays for the dog poop bags and the garbage collection? And who pays for it at the Wayside place, the Wayside Park?
I'm pretty sure it's us. I mean, it's the city. It's part it's out of your.
It's paying, so the
Yeah.
city's paying, and Wayside Park this morning,
Yeah.
I was there at about 6:30, and there were, I don't know, probably 15 to 20 huge bursting garbage bags all around the garbage can because they couldn't fit in the garbage can. So at least, I mean, the good news is someone did at least pick up some of the stuff from the beach. But I
Yeah.
just wondered, I mean, if it's that guy who goes around in a little truck, he wouldn't even have room for all those garbage bags. So I just wondered, you know,
And in the little truck at the Wayside is the state. That's
so
a state
that's what I
employee.
was wondering. But the
Yeah.
state is collecting that garbage. I think we are.
No, yeah, I was gonna say, Linda, we also contract with that other guy with the little
Yeah.
pickup truck, you know, I forget his name, but
Is it affordable
Yeah.
side of it?
yeah, exactly, yeah. And
No, but I mean, the guy I'm talking to is the state, because I'm there pretty much every day. And there's usually a state guy in the morning and at least one in the afternoon sometimes, but there may be other people too. I don't know.
yeah, and so I do know that, you know, we're definitely concerned about the seasonal influx and us having to pay the taxes for or
Sure.
pay the bills for all of that. And so,
And the bathrooms. I mean, I've heard that
Yeah.
there's destruction in the
You know,
bathroom, a lot of vandalism. And then, so we're paying to, you know, fix that. I don't know. Maybe we should get a washroom attendant like they have in Europe. And you have to have a little cup and you have to put a quarter in when you want to use the bathroom.
oh, yeah,
It's ridiculous to have to,
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's so silly that we should be paying to fix bathrooms and
yeah.
collect immense amounts of garbage. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I keep trying to think of one, maybe more signage. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, any other topics you guys want to discuss, or?
I'm good. Jeff, I think you've done a great job. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. And let's, September, I'm gonna at least put, on the agenda, to follow up a little bit more on the code complaint, issues. And then, like I said, a further kind of granular breakdown of where they're occurring. And then we'll go from there. And hopefully get the word out, refer people to the transportation, cannonbeachtsp.com. And then we'll see you guys in September.
Terrific.
All right,
Okay.
have a great summer.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Great.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Just gotta